Alright, 그지. 저 장쇼 셈 규례게 냠는 제발아 녀라. 나 림바 마선나 냠는 제 림바 당보 간에 제거를 남나. 나당보도 아니 소소라랑 삼다제 당가 송길에 소소랑 가송을 제께와이나 강아데네 tin 요래 셈베 삼다디네 가송들에 탈고도 셈베다. 가송 동안에 탈시 말 하며 고방원요 고방 톱지 땡텔이야네 냠는 제그 고급 직 고도 셈베도 신의 삼다야다. 데네기 바 기부 충호다 투모웨 림바 러장. 데네냐 지게 데네 지게 하다 미고마 토바이네야 녀모고 방요 말에 동아요래 제산다 감숨 코와 강도 삼담바이네야 다 코리용레 게와 끼친절라 동아라지제샤 셈베다가 동아리 텔레 드레제 아니 지게 땡게 대화 탈바세 토부도 셈베게 다 로자야 두스진자 디네 장문에 소설에 두스진에 장 소설야다 감좀 코리에 동아리 자다 동아기 용타나 삼다 동아 자두게 삼바 약보치게 되는 기여도 되네 미바 파션 심제 탐절라 삼다제 다 심제 탐절라다라 산식바레 제사 심제 탐절 대화된 덴버쇼 셈피게다 대화 된고도 심제 탐절 동아단 자와쇼 셈피 니지고 어두스네 잠니제 두스콤고레스 디곰발레 테네 고묘도 되네 네 가슴질리에 심제 탐제다 거기 동아 타달을 줘야지야 산게 살량이 거기 집에 안 삼바 사삼 남다스 규게 디게 발레 테네 심제 탐지게 된다래 펜바두발라 심지어 탐절이야 너 산교고 범마도는 지금도 진짜 심지어 탐지도 산교고 버터쇼 세베게다 잔시셈 도스진에 거미야 게야디 림발마선에 된듯이 에세징한다 잔시셈 게야리아 당보냠는 지다 기부 충원 투모람 이름바장 되는 증기 투모람 이름바자 되는 기부 침별람 이름바 도스자나 도스진 림바된듯이 에세게 생각하다 디고 쉬루와
Good evening. So where we've been looking at is the stages in which we need to train our mind in order to generate bodhicitta. And Lama Tsongkhapa has presented that the very first, the foundational trainings in order to later be able to generate bodhicitta is to first to look at our own actual experience, our own actual situation rather, recognizing that this precious rebirth that we've achieved is impermanent. It is ending and it will end at some point. And when this life ends, there is a real possibility of falling to the lower realms. Reflecting that on the sufferings of the lower realms and all that that would entail for us, intensity of suffering, a great delay in gaining another good rebirth and so forth, we give rise to the determination, I must create the causes not to be born in the lower realms. So these are the trainings that are shared with the practitioner of initial capacity. Thereafter one reflects on, but even if I accumulate the causes to ensure that I don't fall into the lower realms in my next rebirth, I am now in the high realms and I know I'm suffering. I experience suffering day after day. And here we reflect on the suffering in the higher realms, giving rise to determination. I have to emerge from these suffering realms of samsara. These then are the trainings that are shared with the practitioner of intermediate capacity. And these two then are the foundation for which we need to first train our mind in order to actually generate bodhicitta. Because we first develop a strength of mind and a focus through the trainings shared with the practitioner of initial capacity, thereafter a practitioner of intermediate capacity. We then have the strength of mind where we turn away from things that are of no real value and are focused on the Dharma. Then we are ready to lift our focus to the situation of others and recognize they are in the same predicament as I am. And we use this then as the stimulation to develop love and compassion. And the ease with which actual love and actual compassion will arise comes about independent on our prior training, on that foundation of recognizing our own situation. So independence on the strength of our determination to gain freedom from suffering. Dependence on that, we will generate love. May all beings abide in happiness. and compassion. May all beings abide free of suffering. And develop those minds ever further, where we come to the point to recognize it is my responsibility to ensure that all beings attain such a state freed of suffering, a state where they are liberated from suffering. And this is the wholehearted resolve or the altruistic attitude. Thereafter one recognizes, whilst I have the determination to lead all beings to a state freed of suffering, I lack the capacity to do so. I have to become a perfect guide, a Buddha, and thereby one generates bodhicitta, the determination to become a Buddha in order to lead all others to the state of enlightenment. So this is then how Lama Tsongkhapa presents. This is the unmistaken way to develop bodhicitta. It comes about independence on the basis of the trainings shared with the practitioner of initial capacity, and building on that, the training shared with the practitioner of intermediate capacity. Those two are the foundation by which the mind is developed enough to actually engage in the trainings which are unique to a practitioner of great capacity.
Detar Changni sa Changchugi Sim Juma Mayimba Gula Jigi Chas, Dene Sim de Temper Chavi Chirdu, Capro Tumo Mayimba Undo Dane, Mumbi Choga Chas, Dene Odusine Dibatus Nelison. Jigi Dene Choga Undo. Yes, sir. Get two more my bondo down near Mumbi Choga Jazz. That didn't work. Jigi Jala says, Dene seemed the temperature, Childu, Gabriel Tumo my bondo down near Mumbi Choga Jazz. I did one mother. I did Jangni, Janchu Sim Juma Mayimba Gula Jigi Jazz. Dene Sim the Temper Javi Chidu Gapro Tumo Mayimba Undo Dani Mumbi Choga Jazz.
So turning to the text then. So in the published book, we're at the very top of page 72, and in the handout, the ebook, we're in the middle of page 82. Training in this way, try to bring about the rising of uncontrived bodhicitta in your mind stream as much as possible. Then, to make that mind stable, go for refuge in the way that is unique to the Mahayana, and then perform the ritual of aspiring bodhicitta.
Detar Jangni said, Dijigang Shia Diki Sigura Kasang to Shuba Nashin, Tida Dambo Givu Chung the Tumo Lamiribo Lojang. Dene Givu Jinda Tumo Lamiribo Lojang. Dene Jamni Jake Dustin and Hasanamda Yene, Dustin and Jangni, Detar Jangni, Dene Janjisem, Juma Messim Jetam Sanjuko Tobo shows with Sim Yene, Dene Dinigi Sim Ye, Juma Mayimbaji, Gula Givi Tapshi or Jigi Jazz, and Dinigi, that Janjisem Juma Mayimbaji. Juma Mayimba Gula Givi Childu Dustin, Yana Yado Yana Gom Judustin, Jago Jegores, Jigi Jazz, Dismurada.
The first words, training in this way. So that links to what has just been covered and was summarized already this evening. That independence on developing the foundation of the training shared with the practitioner of initial capacity, and thereafter the training shared with the practitioner of intermediate capacity. Then one starts to engage in the trainings unique to practitioner of great capacity, developing love and compassion, developing them to the point where one generates genuine wholehearted resolve. And thereafter, one is ready to generate actual bodhicitta.
The Jiki Jazz, Jiki Inji Minji Giver Jores, or the Jiki Jini and Giver Jazz at Inji Minji Giver, Dustin, Janjusim the Gituba, Juma Mayimba Gituba Jewar, Janjusim and Giver, the Juma Zam Gin and Shasana Jigoma, the Juma Mayimba Jores or that.
And one needs to train in this way repeatedly over a sustained period in order, reading a little further, training in this way, try to bring about the rising of uncontrived bodhicitta, can be translated as spontaneous bodhicitta, where it arises without needing to be intentionally generated. This comes about through repetition, through repeatedly training one's mind.
Semde temper chevi chirdu janshu semde tembu ya ge da janshu sem ge ba de ya tembu ji ngo gong ne gong du pe ya ge chirdu da semde temper chevi chirdu ane gebro tumo ma yin ba ngo do da ne se de da tachin tumo ma yin me gemro che dene gemro che ne dene mo sim choge sung go re mo ba sim ge ya ge choga che ne mo sim ya ne choga jin choge sung ji mo sim choge do je ne mo sim ge go re ja ne ge go re se
So one trains in the way mentioned, repeatedly over a sustained period, so that bodhicitta arises spontaneously in an uncontrived manner. Then, to make that mind stable, go for refuge in the way that is unique to the Mahayana, and then perform the ritual of aspiring bodhicitta.
Gyabu di san ye che, san ye che. Dene chö gonjo di papi techin papi gansa yu yi da go den da lam den di chö gonjo se wo da techin tu mo mai be chö gonjo se wo de la. Dene girin gojo se di ane janju taba chimbe gansa papi gansa di ge janju semba papa da taba chimbe ge papi gansa di ge da tu mo mai be taba chimbe tu mo be ge girin gojo re se. 제가 데니게 덤바산 유점된 뒤에 데네 전시스마 파파 연지기 태바침비에 강사 유치권 조제 유치권 조제 엔긴능 고조디 파베 태바침비에 파베 강사 디게제 안델이야 접수 줘야기 점르들라 다 태바침비 투모면 점로시 오래
And then in this second sentence, then to make that mind stable, go for refuge in the way that is unique to the Mahayana. So the unique Mahayana refuge is refuge in the three jewels, where the Buddha jewel is Buddha Shakyamuni, the Sangha jewel are Arya Bodhisattvas, and then the Dharma jewel is the true paths and true cessations in the continuums of the Buddhas and Arya Bodhisattvas. So this is the unique refuge of the Mahayana.
Nandi tabachimbe tumome jamro javyuche dele japsuto de tabachimbe tumome japsuto jamro sigaro. Dene is an tumo maimba jeva in the tumo jio the tumo jamro shorwana. That dig tumo jabrzen on the mun shedere. Sanyu control the Sanye Ranchi Chiba Sanyeche, Sanyu control. Chö control la de papi kansa yu go den da lam den de ke chasan chö control chagruwa. Chesa da chö control che. Ne gedun control la de papi kansa chasan gedun go charuwa. Chesa di tumo ala yu de karasene papi kansa de nyandye da ranjela yore yorwa nyandye da ranjela papi kansa yore janshi semba thaba chimbola papi kansa yore. Chesa papi kansa la yu de gedun control di na lo ya nyandye papa ranjela papa and tachin papa kansa sumbo 수디를 제가 투모와 자살 념도 예리 봐서 투모와 다 최고조대야 파베 강사 유고된다 남들라게도 파베 강사 고된 남들이 년도 파베 유고된다 남들 요래 라디아 파베 유고된다 남들 요래 태바 침베 파베 강사 파베 유고된 남들 요래서 고된다 남들이 다 순간에 캡돼요 그래서 때 투모와서 저들이 데니게 다 지다 상교권조 아니 최고권조 기둥고조 남나 디 숨로 캡유디 투모에 겹유체 대라 겹수도에 겹유디 아니 캬브마 체바지 대라 겹수도에 겹유디 아니 겹도들이야 안 투모에 겹도시 거다.
So if there is a unique refuge or an uncommon refuge, this implies there must be a common refuge. So the common refuge then is what is common to both the Mahayana and the Theravada traditions, where the Buddha jewel remains Buddha Shakyamuni, but the Sangha jewel are Arya beings that include not just Arya bodhisattvas, but also Arya hearers and Arya solitary realizers, so all three. And then the Dharma jewel refers to the true paths and true cessations in all their continuums, a continuum of the Buddhas, as well as Arya hearers, Arya solitary realizers, and Arya bodhisattvas. So this then is the common refuge, and it's common to both the Theravada and Mahayana.
The Tibetan Pabu Yuyi and the Sangye said the Tabachimbe Gansal Madon, Yandue, da Rangelia, and the Sangye said Jomarwa. Sangye the Tabachimbe Gansami Chabrwada. Sangye the Tabachimbe Gansama, Yandu, Odin Yandu, Sangye Layomara, the Range, Sangye Layomara, Sangye Ladu, Tabachimbe Gansami Cabret, I call it Yon Mary. That dinner, then Garsure. Tibetan public you go in a London idi, that Tibetan Beganzala Mato, and the Shandala Marwada. Two more Maimbala do that. Tibetan Beganza, Horons Liobache, Shandal Mebaza, two more Maimbala. Two more than Niga in the two more like Cesada, Tabachimbe Ganza, you go, public you go in a London idi, Tabachimbe Chokonjo, two more Maimbe Chokonjo, Garson, Dick Chokonjodi, Tabachimbe public Ganza Gulamato, Shan Yandu, Aranya public Ganza Meva Inza, Tabachimbe, two more Maimbe Chokonjos. That Tabachimbe public Ganza, the Tabachimbe Ganza Mato, Yandu, Arangela, Meva Inza, and the Koran, Tabachimbe Ganza, Choku, Gideon Gasor. Papa Gaza, the Tabachimbe, two more maybe Kitun Gunjos. Cesada Deniga Sangye, and Tabachimbe Papa Gaza de Che, Tabachim Papa Gaza, you got in a Lamde, somebody, Tabachimbe, two more maybe, Japsum Sego, that Japsum Jet. This garson, Disum the Tabachimbe Gansal Mother Shandal Meva, Sadan Korong, two more maybe, two more Japsum. Cesar Della Japsu Drogi, Jamdu Della, and Tabachimbe, two more maybe, Jabrola water.
So the unique or uncommon refuge of the Mahayana, this refers then to, again, the Buddha jewel, which is Buddha Shakyamuni. So the Buddha jewel remains unchanged for both the common and uncommon refuges. And the Buddha is always a Mahayanist, in that a Buddha necessarily progressed through the paths of the Mahayana as a bodhisattva and eventually attaining enlightenment. But then the uncommon aspect or unique aspect of the Mahayana refuge relates to the Sangha jewel and the Dharma jewel, in that the Sangha jewel refers solely to Arya bodhisattvas, and the Dharma jewel refers to the true paths and true cessations only in the continuum of Mahayanists, namely Buddhas and bodhisattvas, or Buddhas and Arya bodhisattvas. So the difference between the common and uncommon refers to that the uncommon or the unique, all three jewels are that of the Mahayana, whereas for the common, then it is shared between the two.
Dene Jidan the Kabar Gaya Machebaje, Kabar Machebaje, Sanyo Gonjo, and Sanyeche, Papa Gansa, Gedun Gonchoche, Dene Papa Gansa Yuki, Goten Lamdin, Lamna, Shokonch Labna, Kabar Gaya Machidan She, the Papa Gansa, the Yandula Yora, Rangela Yore, Shokonjo de Yandula Yore, Rangula Yore, and Tapachimbe Gansa Gula Yoba, two more, the Shazan, two more Gula Yede Bainza, the Dikapsum de la, Jidan Sanye Gonjo, Chokonjo, Kidungo Labna, Dikapsum de la, two more Japsum, two more Jabusa. Then Sanje Gonjo, Tapachimbe Pabe Gansa, Tapachimbe Pabe Gansa, you Chokonjo Lamna, Dikonjo Sumdi, Tapachimbe, two more Maimbe Jabuse. Then Sanje Gonjo, Chokonjo, Kidungo Jolan, two more Jabuse.
So for both the types of refuge, common and uncommon, the Buddha jewel refers to Buddha Shakyamuni, but for the uncommon Mahayana refuge, then the Sangha jewel refers solely to Arya bodhisattvas who are also Mahayanists. And then the Dharma jewel refers, for the Mahayana uncommon refuge, refers only to the true paths and true cessations within the continuum of Arya Mahayanists, so Buddhas and Arya Bodhisattvas. Whereas for the common refuge, the Buddha jewel remains the same. For the Sangha jewel, it refers to Arya beings of all types, both Mahayanists and Theravadan. So here are solitary realizers and Bodhisattvas. And then the Dharma jewel refers to the true paths and true cessations in the continuum of both Theravadan Aryas and Mahayana Aryas.
아니래. 나 디네 이제 다니데 디네 말에 용으로 비네 태만비 투모만비 점조서 용으로와 제자다 태만비 파베 가사 아니 태만비 파베 가사 기기 고된나 람데니 아니 산유권초 숨디 태만비 투모만비 접유시 차로와 접유차로와 델레 접수도에 점도 델라다 대신 태만비 투모만비 점도라 그러와 네.
So here we see it says unique to the go for refuge in the way that is unique to the Mahayana. One can also have a third way of going for refuge, which is unique to the Theravada. Again, the Buddha jewel remains Buddha Shakyamuni. The Arya jewel will be solely hearers and solitary realizer Aryas, and then the true cessation, the Dharma jewel will be the true paths and true cessations in the continuum of Buddhas and Arya hearers and solitary realizers. So that would be the unique or uncommon way of going for refuge according to the Theravada.
년도 파베 가사디 년도 기든 거처럼 년도 파베 가사 유기 아니 고된 람데 디숨 두스 코로나 접수디 디숨디다 년도에 투모메 비자유 책으로 와 년도마다 란jal로 요 말와 타바침 벌요 말와 가서는 제자다디 델레 접수디에 점도들다 년도에 투모메 점도 디나시 상지 권조체 란제 파베 가사체 Rangi Papa Kansa Yugodina Lamde Nilabna, Rangi to moment be Javisha. Tell a Japsu to a Jamdo de la Rangi to moment be Japsu Jambros, on two sin Yungruana. Niga, they did two more share. That is Sosarana Shevan, do see Yungruad. Yandugi to moment be Jabu, Yandugi to moment be Japsu to a Jambro, Rangi to moment be Japsu to a Jambro, said Odusina, Yawa. That it Bejitina de Sumar that do see what Yorwa.
Whilst this isn't mentioned here, in other texts it refers to also a unique refuge for Hira Theravadins and a unique refuge for solitary realizer Theravadins. So there one can imagine the Buddha jewel will remain the same for both, but the Sangha jewel will refer to either Hira Aryas or solitary realizer Aryas, and the Dharma jewel being the true paths and true cessations in their continuums. And in this way, one can have a unique refuge for hearers and a unique refuge for solitary realizers.
Kapachimbe Jenjusemba Yamlin Jevala, Dine Jenjusembe Pape Gaza Gindingi, and the Roche or Mado, Yandu Papa, the Ranja Papegi, Jenjusembalia in Yamlin Jagger, Robert Tumaro, as in Kapachimbe Yamlin Jela, and Jenjusem Yamlin Jagatala, Pa di Roji, and the Jenjusem Pape Gaza Dimburua, Jeda Dirua. Then Dine Zada, Deliam Dinichimurua, Dine Zada. Sangye and then Janjusim Pape, Tachin Pape Gansache, then Tachin Pape Guye, and Gotin and Lamdin, Chicho Conchola, Tachin Tumo Maimbe, Jamdro, Jabusim Sumje, Della Japsu, Jamdro della, Tachin Tumo Maimbe, Jamdro Lagorwa. Then in Zada, they are down Tambodu dishes.
Because I've covered quite a number of different types of objects of refuge. Just to repeat, for the Mahayana, what is referred to here. When one goes to the unique refuge of the Mahayana, this is what the jewels one turns to when one aspires to enter into the paths of the Mahayana or to progress along the paths of the Mahayana. And one turns to these unique refuge jewels because these are our role models. These are who inspire us. So therefore, we turn for the Buddha jewel to Buddha Shakyamuni, for the Sangha jewel to Arya Bodhisattvas, and then to the Dharma jewel to the true paths and true cessations on their continuum.
Sanyo Concho, Taba Chimbe, Pabe Gansa, the Taba Chimbe, Pabe Gansa, Chu Concho, like Japsu, Jabro de Lada, Taba Chimbe, two moment, make Jam Roses. Dine Imba, that Delia, Jewish or what the Jewish was it, the Ungrada. Been a Yandu Pabe Gansa, Yandu Pabe Gansa, Tiki, yeah, and Sanjela Japsturua. And then Janjisima Pabe Gansala, Japsturua, Japsturua. Then a Janjisima Pabe, got in a Chu Concho, Japsturua. Chiza. Then Yandu Papa, Yandu Papa, Yandu Gansa Digi, and Tabachimbi, Tumo Mami, Javus like Japsu, Jamrudua. The Jamro de la Tabachimbi, Jamro, Tabachumi, Tamami, Jamro, and Joy. Cousin Jamro Sugula Yorosana, Tamambe Gansa Juliorova. Gansa Japsu Johan, Tamambe Gansa. Japsu Joy, Yudi, Tabachimbi Gansa, Japsum Japsura. Says that Digi Tabachimbi, Tumo Mami, Jamro Laidu, Javu Tabas. Chimbi, Dini gave you Sumbo de la Jesu, Jamro de la Tabachimbi, Tumo Maimbi, Jabro like this, the Laroda. There Dilla, Delia, Joe Hali was and then Yandu Gansa, Yandu Pabe Gansa, and Yandu Gansa de Gigi, Chesa Sanji Conjota, Tabachimbi, and Pabe Gansa, Tabachimbi, Pabe Gansa, you Chu Conjola, Jesu, Jamro Yorwas. Di Jabro di Tabachimbi, Tumo Maimbi, Jamro Reves, Jotangora. Di Ina. Tabachimbi Tumo and Mamjaro Marat, Yandu Jamro, Rasoko, Japsudogan Gasadi, Yandu Hasaro, Yandu Julior was, just that the Yandu Jamro was, Mado, Tamin Jamro Chowra, Mad, Tabachimbi Tumo, Jamro Chagmaris, Jewish or Japsudogan, the Yandu Gasa. Gave you some Tabachimbi Gasa. Dimeje, getting go to the Janjism of Pabe Gansa. Janjism Pabe Gansa, Sanji, Janjism Pabe Gansa, Janjis Pabe Gansa, catching public Chokonja, like Japsu Drevi, Jamro, Yandu Gansa, Japsu Duru, Japsu, just like the Japsu Drevi, Jamro, the Sugular Yours and Yandu Gulura, Gansa and Yandura, Japsu. Just like the Tabachimbi, two moments, Jamro Reves and you than Gorda. Tabachimbi, two moments, Jamro Relabna, Tabachimbi, Jamro Mayimba, Mario Coca, Tamin, Jamro Res, Carson Jamsu Gaza, Tamin Bagasa was.
So a doubt may well arise then. What happens if the person who is going to refuge to the three jewels is a hero or an aspirant to the hero paths, but they are choosing to go to refuge to the Buddha jewel, being Buddha Shakyamuni, the Sangha jewel as Arya Bodhisattvas, and then the Dharma jewel being the true paths and true cessations on their continuum. In other words, what happens when a practitioner who is a hero goes for refuge to the three jewels of the Mahayana? Are they then going to refuge to the three jewels of the Mahayana, this unique refuge, when they are a hero? So then a doubt may arise.
Yes, that those lady, that Delia, Gareth was in the land Masona, Chesada, Denigi, Yandu, Japsu, Jamrodi, taking 2 moments, Jamro race, 10 minutes, Jamro Marilla water. Garrison taking 2 moments, Jamro race, Garrison Coron, Jamudi, gave you Japsu Josegi, gave you the taking 2 moments, Jabro was, Della Japsu, Jabro Della, taking 2 moments. Jamro Lagormato, Jamro Coron, Gansa, Sugula, you met the Gomare. Jamro Coron, and a Gansa Tapa Chimbi Gansa Gulayana, Tapam, and Yended Ranja Gulayamada, Lamla Mashuba, Sosuki Gulayana, the Jamro de, and Japsu Jamro della, Tapa Chibi 2 moments, Jabro Lagres. Imbi Gimzende, that Tapa Chibi 2 moments, Jabro said him. Japsu Jamro de Gansa Sugula, you met the Gomare, the Tapa Chimbi meant the Gomare. Coron and Japsu Jabu Tapa Tumo Maimbe, Jabuina, dela capsule jamdo dela tabachime tumo mame jamdo ole gore jezada ko tabachime tumo we jamdo imin sedi ko garisha warasene ko capsule yudi ani tabachime tumo mame jabinza dela capsule jamdo dela tabachime tumo me jamdo ole gore ma to capsule jamdo di kansa suge tabachime kansa kili me dago ma suge le na ji gore se.
The answer to this question would be that if the objects of refuge are those of the Mahayana, but the person going for refuge has an aspiration of the Theravada, that refuge would still be one of the Mahayana because the objects of refuge are of the Mahayana. Therefore, what it determines whether a refuge is of the Mahayana, for example, is dependent on which objects one turns to for refuge, not what one's aspiration is to attain the paths of a hero or a bodhisattva and so forth.
Lamla mashubache sosokibuche 당은 접수줘야 될이야 근데 년뒤에 다 소소나랑 년뒤에 다 준비되고 톰도 지구 선배 삼다제 내려야 아니 년뒤에 상주권 조제 아니 년뒤에 파배 강사다 년뒤에 파배 유기 고된날 최고권들 접수줘나 접수디 디점로디 유에서 강사디 람라 마슈베 강사 줄이어디 디점로디 년뒤에 투모면 점로 차져라 다야 강사직 다 태바 람라 마슈베 강사직이 다 고란 상주고방 투비치도 되네 내가 태바 침비 강사다 강사 대투모만 접수들라 접수되게 점로디 안에 강사 람라 마슈베 강사 줄이어디 디점로디 태바 침비 투모만 점로 차져라 다 되네 되네기다 차상이 겨다 상주권조다 다 파베 강사 차상체 대 강사 유고된 다 람데 최고는 차상을 접수되게 점로디 투모에 점로서 다디 강사 수익을 여베이네야 투모에 점로 근데 람라마슈베 강사들로 숨도 와도 접수가 숨잡아나 다 당보디 태바 상주권조다 안 태바 쳔비기 투모에 접유라 접수되게 점로디체 디 점로들라 태바 쳔비 투모에 점로하체 되네야 년뒤기 아니 년뒤 파베 강사 투모에 접수들라 점로들라 접수되게 점로디 투모에 년뒤기 투모에 점로하체 다 년뒤 파바다 란제 파베 강사 차상다 상제다 전주 파베 강사 참제다 디초고 숨과라 안디니 접수되는 점로들라 투모에 점로하체 지나다 태진 투모에 점로 아니 년뒤 투모에 태민 투모에 점로 되네 태바 투모에 점로하시니 예 숨체 도하다.
So if someone is a hera, or if someone wants to become a hera arhat, that is their aspiration, they haven't yet attained a path, and they go for refuge then to the Buddha jewel, the Dharma jewel, and the hera aryas, then this would be the uncommon hera refuge, because only someone wanting to attain the goal of a hera would go to that specific set of three jewels for refuge. And similarly, someone wanting to attain the Buddhahood would go to Mahayana refuge, and if they were to choose to go for refuge to the Buddha jewel, the Dharma jewel, and the Sangha jewel being only Arya Bodhisattvas, then it would be the uncommon Mahayana refuge. But one could also go for a common refuge, where again, the Buddha jewel, the Dharma jewel is unchanged, but the Sangha jewel would be all three types of Aryas. This would be Hira Aryas, solitary realizer Aryas, and Bodhisattva Aryas. Then it would be a common refuge because it's got all three types of practitioners included within the Sangha jewel.
그래서 난 델리아 디게 녜셰디라 직점도 델리아 델리 수나도 다데 전주심 뭔심 초기 소야라 남보 전주 가서 점도 쳐야 될다 태바치면 투모만 점도도 고고래서 제산디 점도 잠지 디고 말에 태바치면 투모만 점도도 고고래서 제산디네 자다 델리 트레이션 태바치 제산디 태바치면 투모만 점도서 가르치려고 그래서 데니시리에서 태바치면 투모만 점도도 모여서 That tabachi tumo ma me jabra tumo ma yin ba ju de tumo wa ji yo ro de tumo wa ji gemre de yes that tabachi me tumo ma me jabra ne taba bene temengi tumo ma me jabra che yo ro di de ne yes na da khaba ro so du sin shu ya di.
So therefore, from this, you would have heard now there are many differing ways one can go for refuge. With an understanding of the Buddha jewel will always refer to the Buddha Shakyamuni, and the Dharma jewel always refers to true paths and true cessations. The Sangha jewel, though, there is some variety there in terms of where one turns for refuge. And this one would assume would often be in relation to one's own motivation. So here we are being encouraged to go to the unique or uncommon Mahayana refuge, but there's also a common refuge and a specific Theravadan refuge and so forth.
Dine zada anzu ge delia tumo mayin bi ngondo tane dine monsim chogi choga ja sizanda monsim choga ja se monsim chogi sun chogi go ne monsim gebala dinela jamro chi go di jamro di tabachi tumo mayin jamro chi go re si gorda.
And as the text says, that sentence ends with one then needs to perform the ritual of aspiring bodhicitta, but prior to that, one needs to go for refuge to the unique Mahayana three jewels.
당저 모습 초계 송시디 초가들 ben에 상계 최나 조계 최남나 장주 바도 단에 예소시 다기 진소기 비 소남이 졸라 편주 상유 주보 쇼세 다 초가디 다 모습 초계 송에 초가 먹는 걸 다딘데 초가디 디니 되는제 당한 저게 모습 송에게 초가로 집변에 상유 최소만 시작하래.
The ritual for aspiring bodhicitta, this is four-line verse you're very familiar with, very similar to what we recited at the beginning of the class. I go for refuge until enlightenment in the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By the merit of practicing generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha for all beings.
지산 데니기 상예 최소마 된제 말씀 초교 송바이나 지난 상예 최다 상예를 상예 권초듯이와 개뷰디와 다 최다 시대 다 최권시 다 디가서 최권시 삼다에들 태바 첨비 강사 최권시들 삼당고거다 상예 최다 상예 최다 초기是초세다 태바 첨비 파베 강사 삼당고거래들이야 지산 상예 상예세 상예 권초제 최다스 태바 첨비 강사 파베 규기 최권초대제 고대 람닝이디제 안 초기 초세도 태바침에 밥에 가서 속이 쳐남라스 근데 상유처 속이 자주 봐도 단에 접수 제스도 네 심전 탐지기도 상유고 마소기 봐도 될 접수 주긴시 오르다 디점로 되체 전시심네 가서 상유처 속이 쳐남라 자주 봐도 단에 접수 제스 당보 상유 최다 속이 쳐남라스도 다 태바침에 투모만 접유숨디 거선 거래 속이 쳐남라 자주 봐도 되네 접수 제스 당에 심전 탐지기도 상유고 마소기 봐도 될 접수 주긴시 점로 되샤고 점로 되샤 다기 진소기별 초남기 졸라 편저선이 주보쇼스데 다기 진소기별 초남기 수등이 진바다 수림나 쇠발라서베 미 개와사바 개와 딜레티네 아니 말씀자 탐지게 되는 상요고 버터버쇼세데 장시 심게 차고다디 두스네 초가디 된베 돈에 심다베나 다지산 델리아 담보들 치지들 담보 개뷰 숨사답 되네 태바치미 투모 점도 개뷰 숨사답 되라 장주바도 가서 되네 점도체 디제라 아니 심기긴 심제 상주고 토버쇼세 직디 된제 아니 된리아 아니 소소라는 된리아 상계단들 개뷰되게 차상 위에 선배기 매바체 되는 누두시는 디직도 된제 두시는 심계가 되라 다 무슨 저기고네 소화서 그렇다 상계의 태바침병 뒤지다 태바침병 밥에 가서 제산데 태바침 밥에 언제 최근에 라이브를 제산 제산 최근에 태바침병 밥에 가서 이 고대 람딩이 차바지 먹어서 전시 좀 파파다 산이 니가 열어와. 아니, 이와. 나랑 소소기다 지금 소소기 듄네 소소라 수 심기기나 소소 듄을 뭐 저거로 와대. 소소 듄이야 딘지 콘조스가 차사 유에스 뭐 봐제제. 건조 년 말에 내가 년에서 마시고 말봐 당한주 균래 무슨 매로 무슨 옛날 라미 마순고로와 라미 균이 시고로와 대변에 맞아 결혼체 세브름스 송취시가 산여처나 소기처럼 라지도 라미 말아도 원에 알고로와 대도 균도 라망고스여들와 다 라망고스 아주 매베갑랑 아주 발삼당아서 개위다 산예 건조다 주스면 파베 간사다 디기요다 고든 람드 차사 아주 균들 옹고스 예스면 매바체 인델에 안에 대바체주다 대주 다 점유숨디기 구송 투숨의原则 대하다 안델에 대바체주도 제제 안델에 디링에 안디 결혼 꾸이 뒤네 안에 점로 제 전주심 기인 선비게다 매바체제 호두시네 대측티 아주 든거데 애니마 라미기 든기예베지 매바체제 소수의 되네 소수가 디야 제대지기 매고 건지 등기 예비기 뭐바지 그래서 등고스 등기 엄마 뭐바지 소소라는 게 디제대진 등기 예스 된제 안 저가서래 샘게 수고 예스 뭐바지 두시 그래서 예
This aspiring bodhicitta ritual of aspiring bodhicitta, is this a 4-line verse. The first 2 lines, then, Geshe mentioned in the previous segment, there are different rituals, different sets of verses that one can recite. This is the most common. So this 4-line verse, the first 2 lines, I take refuge until enlightenment in the Buddha, Dharma, and the Sangha, the Supreme Community. So these first 2 lines in the verse, this is of course going for refuge. And this, as we see here in the text, we go for the unique Mahayana refuge. So it's Buddha Shakyamuni. The Sangha jewel then refers to Arya Bodhisattvas alone. And then the Dharma jewel refers to the true paths and true cessations in the continuum of Mahayanists. In other words, Buddhas and Arya Bodhisattvas alone. So to them, we go for refuge. So those first 2 lines, again, refer to going for refuge. Then the 3rd and 4th line. So this, in English, you'll have different translations. By the merit of practicing generosity and so forth is literally the Tibetan. Some translations are by the merit of practicing generosity and other perfections. But it's literally generosity and so forth, but it refers to the other perfections. May I become a Buddha for the benefit of all sentient beings. So this, the recitation of this 3rd and 4th line is where one generates bodhicitta. So one recites the 4 lines as we do 3 times, generating, going for refuge, generating bodhicitta, doing this 3 times. Before one engages in the recitation though, one visualizes the 3 jewels before one, and reflects on the qualities of the 3 jewels, so as to generate faith, and generates the determination to generate bodhicitta itself. So that's this is how one prepares one's mind for the aspiring bodhicitta ritual, reflecting on the qualities of the 3 jewels so as to generate faith, and developing the determination to generate bodhicitta. And then, because one is, in this case, one is not doing it in the presence of a teacher, one is doing so with imagined 3 jewels. And then one imagines repeating the recitation, following them. So you just recite on your own in the 3 ways you normally do, but imagine as if you were following them in recitation. In other words, one is making this commitment in the presence of the 3 jewels. So one has this belief that one is, whilst one is reciting alone in one's room, their omniscient consciousness is aware of oneself. So one is actually reciting, they are leading one in recitation, and thereby are aware of this promise that we are making.
조지 손발에 진짜 다기 신소 집에 쇠남기 세대라 쇠남기 세대 쇠남나라 다 쇠남이 소득이 시고래 지상이 쇠남이 소 진바도 수준 쇠발라 소바데 쇠남 개와 딜레데네 아니게 전주심 심제 담산이고 도버쇼사지 순고래 지사다 델야 자원책이 네 자다기 진소기비 총남기 송셔나 총남기람나 소소기 찍디가 총남기라 초들라 쇠남이 초다 이시 소 니가 레디고레스 지자다 총남기스도 쇠남이 초다 이시기 소 니가 디니벌 때는 게 전시 삼지 산유고 버터 쇼세디 두스지네 삼다나 네 야보도 세디 총남기람나 총남기라도 소소 찍마 촉세되어도 Lamsang lo le shay de ya an sunam so da yishi so ni ga de yong le ji da di tan du ga ji du che we na ya wo da sunam gi la ba na ji da nam ri mi nyam ne ya bo jen da be ni ga jen tu gu ro ba yin da ya zu jang ji mi gyum je so su gi che ra gom shi me na zu de sunam gi la sunam gi so da ma de yishi so de jen tu go ma le ji da ga tsik ko sunam se yue be za de ne in za de le ya tsik de le ya an 총남 기세는 규르신 랍산 덤바이나 안에 소수기 셈라람서 총남 길을 소도 이시 소노 소름 소이가 다 선님 저 진바다 주름로서 받아 되네 농반이 또 베셔라서 버티야이다 어딘 되니기 잼비 토네 안두스제반에 네 야보용 그래서 지금 막 두스 가베 지송디가 다 상기시는 소유처럼나 장주바도 단에 계속지 다기 신소기비 총남 기조라 파셔서 유튜브 쇼슨 거래 선님기디 내 수염기 세 순간에 당보 순간에 디 상유 쳐서마 찍디 당보디 디제 상유 쳐동 소유처럼 자주 봐도 단내 교수자 다기신 소기비 수염기 졸라 패셔서 유튜브 쇼세디 뭐다 조지기 송하데 당보디래 다델야 결함지기다 수염기 착들래 초남기 세 두신 아도네 안에 젠dom네 야광사리에서 순거래
So they can be some variation in the Tibetan of the third line. I don't think I've seen it translated differently, but there can be variation in the Tibetan of the third line. So the third line, Daki Jinso Kipe Sonamgi, is what one would probably or possibly most commonly hear. So the end is Sonamki. So this is from the original composition by Lama Atisha. And it's and this particular word, the "se," means So this line means by the merit of practicing generosity and so forth. So this refers to when he hears this word merit, practicing generosity and so forth. His Holiness has changed this word "sernamgi" to "tsoknamki." So possibly in some transliterations you'll find this in the third line. So instead of Sernamki, what would be S-O, it will be Tsok, T-S-H-O-G. And so this Tsok that His Holiness has changed it to, it's the same as the Tsok as in that we use for puja. It means accumulation. And so this then, His Holiness would say, refers to the two accumulations. So by the merit of practicing generosity, about the merit of practicing the two accumulations of generosity and so forth. So the meaning is identical, but it's to emphasize both accumulations, so all six perfections. So again, just so the Tibetan's a little clear, what maybe you'd usually find is Sonamki, S-O, or maybe S-O-E, or S-O with umlauts. That's from Lama Atisha. And but His Holiness may have changed it to Tsok, T-S-H-O-G, and this then explicitly refers to the two accumulations.
소남길한테 소남소리 시소니게 대하게 소라면데 대하게 롤이야 대하게 개발이 체용서레스 제자디 소라네 디 야구도스 냠제 디순고마디 디 소남길한테 마디바요 마디고르데 노르시아진데 순고 말에 디 디민도 노르샤 말에 딩헤디 야간디 디민도 디 말에 저때 가는 중에 다 가서 소소라나 야야지 가실이야错了的些错的是那么说你个真图错是的你个约吧些这虽那么来的但错的嘞虽那么错的一些错你约吧这的一些错的国跟上的虽那么说几不这个上咱别给的那个的话用入啊的开些的这大家的这的了虽那么的错了别的一些错的没吧人家的一些错的没那第三上别的呢开些的呢的话用说的那个嘛的其实的虽那么的现在的책등으로서도 쇠남 송여도 디슈라 초남사데 요레스 지나다 Dondale din sonam gila na chingmo sumashana din nigale pa ten to yage khabar sare yons da kashel pando yungure esne ondusine sungor bana ma de ajik ada yam judo de des da je mari was suza che da dinege samda dit yo marda ya diso kolomate ba jeo kechimujure.
Just to be sure that there's no confusion, His Holiness isn't correcting Lama Atisha or pointing out a fault that Lama Atisha made, not at all. But he's rather saying, for the sake of students who may misunderstand when they see, so in English, generosity and so forth, only think of the practices included with the accumulation of merit, whereas one should also be thinking of emptiness, so the accumulation of wisdom. So therefore, he changed Sonam to Tsognam ki, so the Sir to Tsog, so as to make it clearer to us that we should also be reflecting on the accumulation of wisdom as well as the accumulation of merit.
제가 데니기 가시 되는데 처음 유저라 편집성이 두고 쉬어서 되는데 야데 너무 저는 유저라 편집성이 두고 쉬어야 돼. 처음 유저도 나 노티스 되는 게 좀 삼식으로 와데 제가 가시 저는 유저라 편집성이 두고 쉬어서 돼. 등 가시 처음 유저라 편집성이 두고 쉬어 되는데 아직 다다 뭐는 어디 그 직디 너고도 삼배지 용으로 와데 네가 직 너요 말에 간절다 간지 가지 고박이 원도 전에 무슨 송교를 마도 너야 말 네가 직도요 다 간지 제가 되네게서 같이 초남지 송 되요 다 그도 소남지 열 배진하라 그 소남 소세 너르지 되는도 선배 그 너샤 선배 섬나 같이 초남이 되는 거 가지고 넘긴 여름철에 되는 송주가 초남이 되는 거 소남이 되는 것도 있어 대한 그 너샤 선배 지금도 선배 되네 말이다고 같이 되네 지가 юм체지 하 뭐나 어디 너는 되는 것도 선배 섬는 날 전식으로 와.
I think it's important that you are aware of this difference and why it is there, because otherwise you may well end up unfairly criticizing, saying, oh, this is a mistake. It's supposed to be like this and not like that, when actually both are fine. So if you have in your text, Sir, that is fine. If you have Tsok, that is fine. Both are unmistaken.
이 주고야 돼 개발슈가 돼 되네게 로아 되네 아담만 비게 말씀 초배권에 송고를 해서 다들라 되네 뭔가 초교 송찬에 다 되네 뭔가 초교 송찬에 되네 뭔가 초교 송네 디 랍자라 랍 되네 저바 친족당 두시 솔라 롭데 비게 아니 롭데 망도 장 Then
returning to the text, having taken hold of aspiring bodhicitta by means of the ritual, practice its trainings, repeatedly develop the wish to train in the bodhisattva conduct, the 6 perfections. I just changed this translation, the 4 ways of positively influencing others, and so forth. Once the desire to train in it has come from the depths of your heart, and then there's a word missing. Oh no, I've retranslated this one word. From the depths of your heart, correctly take the vow of engaging bodhicitta. So this word pure should be rather translated as correctly.
Monsim Chogyo Sonsane, the Monsim Labjala Labgore, Roda, Monsim Labjala Labgores, the Monsim Labjala Labsedi, the Anzugi, the Cetelia, Monsim, and the yes, how the Manyambiki Labia, Manyampache, Yane and Manyamba, Jarajele, Monsimki, Tikajele, Tikarsority, Mambasimki, Payan, some the Monsimki Payan J. Member Simki, Payanti, Simki, Payant, Yendente, Denebana, and the Simki Delia, and getting the Yamnache, Nubakigorwa, Cesa, the Simki, Payant, and the Simki de, and the Chike, Payant Mamazda, Sosukula, Monsmi, body, more Majeba, more compared to each other, and Chikazuki, chen lan sum da yin lan sum la so ba mo sim ge gu re s ge je ne ge ya da de ne ge sönam de ne ge da sönam da ise so sa ya ben che bu pu ya cha che wa de ne ge da sim san ge go ba to be chu do de ne ge mo sim du shi ne sam dang wo di da mo sim ge lab ja ti ge du shi la ya ti so re si wo re ah de Di are di ro simjile me to ala ndi gore. This area.
Just before coming to what Geshe said, so we see here in having taken hold of the aspiring bodhicitta by means of the ritual practice, its trainings. This translation's fine. In the Lamrim Chemor, this word in this context is translated as precepts. So when you hear about the precepts of aspiring bodhicitta, that can also be the trainings of aspiring bodhicitta. It's the same word and usually translated as trainings, but in the Lamrim Chemor they're translated as precepts. So having taken hold of aspiring bodhicitta by means of its ritual, practice the precepts of aspiring bodhicitta or the trainings of aspiring bodhicitta. And what are they? So they're fourfold. So firstly, one needs to reflect on the benefits of bodhicitta again and again to strengthen one's valuing of bodhicitta. And secondly, one needs to repeatedly generate bodhicitta 3 times in the daytime, 3 times in the evening. So 6 times a day one needs to generate bodhicitta. The third is not to mentally abandon any living being. And then the fourth is to engage in the accumulations of merit and wisdom, so the 2 accumulations. So these are the 4 trainings or precepts of aspiring bodhicitta. Again, reflecting on the benefits of bodhicitta, to generate bodhicitta 3 times in the day, 3 times at night, to not abandon any sentient being, and then fourthly, to engage in the accumulations of merit and wisdom.
Cetelia, Simge Manyamba, Simge Manyambe Chido, and Gulal, Simge Manyambe Gulal, Lapjanchia, Yamlenchia, Chik, and then Kiwachimaya, Janju Sim, Yamlenchiagi, and Jay Kobragi, Delia, and Gulia, Laviagi, Yamlenchia, the Labjete, Jaya Dela, Com Yamlenchia Delada, Mumbasim Uchova, Monsim Sunsane, Monsim Labjala, Lava said the Direda, Labjal Lab said.
The purpose of these trainings or precepts is to prevent the decline of the bodhicitta one has generated. So that, in other words, that it remains vibrant within oneself. One doesn't lose what this precious jewel that one has attained. Moreover, so that's the benefit for this life. Moreover, to ensure that in lives to come, we will continue our development of bodhicitta because of our ongoing strengthening of it. So it prevents a decline in this life and ensure that we are not separated from bodhicitta in lives to come.
Dine ge labjal duos lab dine labsana dine duos chen lobjon nyamlenche dine digala ya an garche warasne dine jimba da passion to nyamlenda janju smida janju passion to nyamlendelia an nyamlenda an duishi ngoboshila lobdege ba lobdege an dewa lobjon yaboresme desle yende da delia lobdege mandu changore so ade da janju sen jimbe nyamlenche de yapore shenle pando da de surimda sweba da junde samde an shere nyamlendi pa do shin desuge 장고 배 야고도 다 대소 장에 샤려 다산 요고바 토발라 대소 마도 냠네 마진 토토에 메레 제사 대소 냠네 소소게 산조고바 토발라 디 냠네 제고도 신심제레 판도 주베 동아세야 데 유튜브에 대소 냠네 제고 섬베게다 대소 파신 주게 냠네 누용오보시 데다 냠네 냠슬레데라 델리아 윤딘 데 델리아 다디 배 야고르시 섬베 데네 디게 냠네 제도게 좀 장이 되바 듬바디 파 tumba chimbu jaya liya janggo re sere. Jesa, jeba chinrukta, dushi sola, debige, lobde mangdu chala, Diniqua Yane Yadu, Yenden Dadinigi, di Jango to Sempedi, Yamlin Jigin, Sempeda, Dambo, that Dushi the Jangores, Lo Jangores.
That next sentence, then repeatedly, so now having gone through the ritual of aspiring bodhicitta, then once and thereby has taken to heart the need to engage in these precepts, those 4 that were just mentioned, or these trainings. One also needs to repeatedly develop the wish to train in the bodhisattva conduct. And the bodhisattva conduct is summarized as the 6 perfections and the 4 ways to positively influence others. So just to say as an aside, what the Tibetan the 4 ways to positively influence others, or the 4 ways of gathering disciples, literally is the gathering or collection of 4 functioning things. So you can see from that, it can be translated very loosely, very broadly rather. So the gathering of 4 functioning things. So that I rather translate as the 4 ways of positively influencing others, as well as the 6 perfections. And these one then generates a wish repeatedly, again and again, I want to train in these, I want to fulfill this aspiration I've developed to become a Buddha for the sake of others. And to do so, I need to engage in these trainings. So one develops an ever stronger determination to engage in the 6 perfections and the 4 ways to positively influence others.
Dondala da denzugo parjun duge nyamnen digelia and do young oboshilabi denzigi nyamnen digela yundin da den pan pen jimbaru samda with the jimbe nyamnen chebadala da jimbe nyamnen chebaina soso range shenlia pando gi socio tungin duye debo jimbe nyamnen de yungore jezada dimbe dojo sena sedi da gyere jeza jimbe nyamnen tarma chimbaina sanje goban totugo sanje goban tobala jimbe nyamnen tarchimba godo jeza rangi gi soso rangi gi shenlia anjige tungin thone shenlia and digi duye dunga kanga seya sosolia and tungin puzon soba de gogo de jimbal de yungore mato dium tungin puzon soba godo na shenlia and shenge kanga ngone ngoso jigje shenlia kanga seya shenlia jimbe da bene seji jimba seongosu jeala so de menje ngoso droje da tungin kari gogo na konsolya dus de ngoso de 판도 bene shenge kanga de setudo 제자 da de jimbe nyamne chebana rangi ane rangle jige shenli roche sosola tungin punson soba yongwa di shenli dene shenyi dunga ko gangla gangdegi shenli roche ane shenyi ganga se tuwa an di jimbi nyamne jebala dene sosoge sena di nyamne sena lodi yeba mo yongwa di nyamne jebala dene ane ya sangyo kubang toyagi nyurdu top tuwa dinige samda yundendu shin dina shinda jimbada sudimda seobada shira 동방이 또 베시라라서 연대도 제삼다 연대데 다 연대도 수된 앞에 약고르샤 딘냠는 맞은데 다 탑민도 딘냠는 지야 선배 두시네 안에 안도 삼다이데 롭디마도 장바시 디스코르다.
So the statement, the sentence rather, repeatedly develop the wish to train in the bodhisattva conduct. So this is done in the way mentioned, where one thinks about the goal that one wants to achieve, and that this is the means to do so. Moreover, one also repeatedly reflects on the benefits of each of the 6 perfections, so as to develop a burning desire to train in them. So for example, with generosity, one reflects on the benefits of generosity, thinking that through the expression of the wish to give, one will ease the suffering of others and bring happiness to others. And this is the very heart motivation of the bodhisattva, to ease the suffering of others and bring them happiness, both temporary happiness, but in particular, lasting happiness. So through giving whatever they have in abundance, giving material needs, they will ease the suffering of others on a temporary level and bring temporary happiness to others. This is part of the aspiration of the bodhisattva. So too with helping beings when they are in great fear, in great danger, helping ease them in such a time of intense distress. This too fulfills this aspiration of the bodhisattva to be of benefit to others. In particular, the giving of dharma, the guiding, which is the guidance, direct guidance of others, how to attain lasting happiness, freedom from suffering. So the bodhisattva reflects on the benefits of generosity, strengthening their determination of using whatever skills and talents and resources they have at their disposal to benefit others, to ease the suffering of others. And moreover, by doing so, they will overcome some of their own inner obstacles to their spiritual development, to their attainment of enlightenment, that namely, that of the self-centered attitude of miserliness. As long as this, the attitude of miserliness remains within the practitioner, enlightenment cannot be attained. So in this way, then the bodhisattva reflects on the benefits of generosity and continues this, the reflection on the benefits of ethical restraint, patience, joyous perseverance, concentration, and wisdom.
Dene ge du chene ya jang yu de dene ning thapa ne gansam jile ning thapa ne da lob de chwa na sa da dene ge sosulia da den la go du sempe da semba lab de ge jang de ge domba lab ji de lab gi se be ge da semle tempo da dene ge lob de ya go chung yu de dene ju dom ju be domba ling go re ju dom number da ba ji lang se dene ju dom ling go re se de.
Then reflecting in this way leads to this what is expressed in the final sentence. And again, I've just changed slightly the last line. Once the desire to train in it, so in the six perfections and four ways of positively influencing others, has come forth from the depths of your heart, correctly take the vow of engaging bodhicitta.
다니네 대량한 저기 다당보 아니 지게 장쇼 심만베게 장쇼 셈게 되는 만바셈 장쇼심 쮸마 멤베시게 되네 장쇼심 쮸마 메게 산에 뭔생에 랍절 발랍 되는 뭔생에 랍절 랍네 되네 아니 파신 주기 쮸바냠는게 장쇼심에 쮸바 바로 지심을 둘라 롭되기 바장 윤된대 장 되네 가다 롭되기 베 마식다 되네 젤랍 투사레 장 투사레 셈베기 되네게다 랍긴 셈베 셈슈 템포시 레오드 되네 주dom랑 고래 세승도 하다.
So what we have presented here in this paragraph is the steps of training to engage in once one has developed one's foundation, first by going for the unique Mahayana refuge. Based on that then, the ritual of engage in the ritual of aspiring bodhicitta. Thereafter, reflect on the trainings of aspiring bodhicitta, so those four that were mentioned, thereafter develop the determination to engage in the conduct of the bodhisattva and the six perfections and so forth, and then one is ready to take the vows of the bodhisattva.
I didn't masunadi do stay to all that Janjusim Magende, Janjusim Domba Soya Jimindua, then dinner that you the Hachi Samnon Sigua. Then must that we Janjusim Gula Gemena, Janjusim Domba Soya Samara, and be Judum Soya Samara, and be then something more than mother, to study dinner Macarson, Janjusim Ge, Janjusim Big Mosim Ge, dinner Mosim love the Jan, then she loved the Yapo Passion Julia, and the Joba Parody Shimbudula Soba, loved the Yapo, some Yapo Timbuki, the dinner she near Judum Lang or Reson or water. She's not doing the Mason or the Judum Lala, Janjusim Ge was I said, the Junior Mango, Sonja did Judum, I think I Janjusim a chance at something.
So now to address a doubt that may well arise, because when one reflects on these various stages of training, bearing in mind what we've covered last week, so that entire foundation, as well as these in this paragraph, and it culminates in finally taking the vow of the bodhisattva, one may think, well, what about a person like myself? I have not really generated all of these qualities within myself. Am I able to take the vow of the bodhisattva? Is it only possible when one has actually generated all these qualities within oneself?
Dadede Sona Delia Mano Gumi, Dewood Part, Judy Pass, and Dewood Gumi Junagi, do score him to Masungor, what gyönmeba gorim gyönmeba jebu gyudi pasa gyudinma jebu dus gyönme juyage notimeba tata juyade ditene tusure sungorbada.
This would be the ideal situation, the way to develop the causes in a manner, the causes for the bodhisattva vow, in an unmistaken manner. So it's the ideal.
제나당은 저기 전주심 유래 맞게바 있네야. 나한테 전주심비 돈바 송야라 소바 제바는 판연 받으면 봐서가 벤심제 탐지 잠니제 삼다. 다심제 탐지 기준 상유고바 토벌쇼 세비게다 전주심 문이 깨매나야. 오늘 전주심 심제 상유고바 토벌쇼 셈비게다 내갑들이야. 되네게 셈기네 다 전주심비 줘봐 바로 심발라. 랍긴 셈데 랍디게 삼로들에 숙심보르기 되네 전주심비게 돈바 송바이나 다스는 바도메 바사이고르바 다 전주심 마게 바도나서 장미길에 전주심 마게 바서 전주심 돈바 송메 삼다데네 나서 레디스놈 사이도 고갑디 자기 말하다 전주심 마게 바도 그다 게디키나 하고 말하다 되니게 메나 고갑기네 스놈 사이 고가라기 말와 제자다 되니게 돈바 송야 제수 안지 냠네 제모도 봐 용구로와 이네 디바에 용구로 되나 개와제 사사로와 네 디 쉬면은 and 디바도 용거를 되게 왔어요 말아. 제가다 장을 주기 전심 은혜라 깨마토베네 잠니지요콤 심자 탐지도는 사유고방 토벌쇼 세비게 내가 들려 소소의 삼심 딩네랑 은혜라 제 심자 사유고방 토벌쇼 세베 삼다 디네 삼다네 디는 게 전심 비게 제가 바로 지미 연된다 전심 바차사 명원에 전심 제가 바로 지미 야, 난 냠는 제지 산유고바 토발 내기야 콘존하신 제네야 전시심이 줘발 랍제 산유고바 토발 지기 삼제 되네게 삼로데 다 디가서 군노 되네 삼다지도 삼로데 기제 전시심 원내 기요 말데 내가 줘마와 되네게 지기 삼다 곰제 내가 제 전시심이 돈바 쉬바이나 되네 돈바 쉬지네 디가서 돈바 순위 값서 디냐가서다 소남 라보체시고 바토메 바사고래 대사와마제 딩안주 니마가 제바도 뒤투네 수남 개치무 사투고 니고로 받아 진짜 되네 자다 전주심비 돈바 손야 주비 돈바 손야 되라 아니 전주심 맞게 봐이네 주비 돈바 손야 요르 순간 요르 순간 요르스고래 주비 전주심 귤에 맞게 봐이네 주비 돈바디 손야 요르 순간 용고래스 주둠 쉬는 디고 쉬는 요래서 람 전주심 맞 귤에 맞 전주심 맞게 봐도 주둠 쉬면 구되나 소남 사요 고급라고 말하지 잖아. 다 전주심 맞게 바이나 전주심 맞게 녀려야 안 되네. 아주 두시나 삼단도 주둠 쉬어 용고래. 주둠 톱가 용고래. 톱바 용고래. 주둠 쉬어 용고래지. 쉬고래서는 쉬는 요래지다. 네, 쉬고다 주둠 쉬고래 주둠 기고래 그러는지다. 쉬는데래.
So what's presented here is the ideal way to train. With that being said, though, prior to generating uncontrived bodhicitta, which aspiring bodhicitta is uncontrived bodhicitta, if one has the opportunity to engage in the ritual of receiving the bodhisattva vows, by doing so, so much merit is created. And the way that one would do so is exactly as you would have been guided before in the ceremony to receive the bodhisattva vows, where you, in accordance with your own individual capacity, you reflect on the suffering of beings, you generate love and compassion for them, and you generate the aspiration to attain enlightenment and lead all beings to freedom from suffering. So you generate whatever similitude one can of great love and great compassion and bodhicitta itself, and then engage in the ritual. And by doing so, one accumulates so much merit. And this really has great benefit, because opportunities to do so, to encounter the Mahayana Dharma and to engage in a ritual such as this, is extremely rare. So by taking the opportunity and accumulating this merit, there's great purpose to doing so. So when one has such an opportunity, or when one does so, one does to the very best of one's ability generate a sincere, heartfelt desire to become a bodhisattva, and thereby strive for Buddhahood for the sake of others, and generate the aspiration to follow in the footsteps of the bodhisattvas in our world, training just like them. So in this way, to the best of our ability, we developed contrived bodhicitta. And for some people, this will be really quite strong. For others, it will be quite weak. But whatever our current capacity is, by generating contrived bodhicitta, we will accumulate so much merit. And then we engage in the ceremony, and we accumulate extensive merit. And for as long as this motivation we have generated abides within us, and we act under its influence, again, we continue to accumulate so much merit. And it's entirely conceivable that even before uncontrived bodhicitta is generated, that there will be those who do receive the bodhisattva vows.
직접 마인베 살외체라야다 간지 가르쳐버리시네 당보 당 전주심에 마인베 자이그 귤을 랍전주심 주마인베 귤에게 되는 전주심보다디 저기야 람문에 냠내기 림바지에 전 두시네 마 지키 태신 람을 쉬는 냠내지 림바 순거와 제가 당보 잠니 조금 발라드네 전주심 주마인베게 전주심에 주마인베게 발라드네 태바침비게 랍 전주심비게다 가서 머심 초게송 되네 머심게 랍자라 파 랍고그레스 랍제네 되네 머심 랍자 랍산데네 가상 네 랍제 랍네 소소게 땡설 마선 되었다 지금 냠냠을 봐서 되체를 되네 장주심비게 줘봐 바로도 침바 줄어서 봐도 두용 없으실라 다 장긴세비 윤된다 되네게 도시네 대바께 되네게 장되게 돈바 삼라장 되네 가슴절에 삼라나래 야고치래요도 되네 주동된 거 주동 쇼고래 에세제 안도시는 저기 도 다디 메 전시세 문의기는 냠내지도 도스에 난고래세디 슈벌 순거와 제가 당하는 중에 다 전시세 뭐 그런 쪽에도 냠내 난고래스는 배 보레샤선 당한 중에 나 권은 나시는 제도와 지긴 셈비게 삼다제 당하는 중에 지게 지금 코비기 님이 삼다 호와라 탈되기 삼러시다 되네 소수기 삼다와 나신진데네 다랑 미바드 파부에 전 심지어 탐제 제와 템버 쇼 심비 삼다야다 되네 전 심지어 동화다 자와 쇼 세비 니제고 되네 심지어 탐제 동화다 자와는 디기 그래서 대화 풍선 소바 템바 딩이 지기 대심지어 탐제링의 펜버 줍제 심지어 탐제 상제살을 고투버 지긴 셈베게 다 라섬 되네기 삼다 되네 대장의 심지어 탐지도 사유고 토버 쇼 셈베게다 전주 셈게 도시먼 먼심게 되네 먼심게 산에든 지게 소수기 지게 간주 상주처럼 소유처럼서 되네게 템베 토네다 지게 전시심비 줘봐라 롭되게 파 랍긴시비 전시심비 주비 파로도 심비 연대되게 파 삼다 어디등에 냠는지 투와 제고도 선배다 도시는 아주 도시는 삼다 자야 디당한주 내가한줄이야 랍제디 디세다 한줄 링와데 도시는 삼로남도 자야 장도시 호되네 장배는 나한주 삼데 디네게 삼데 야네 자도다 야게 니벌 마소나 아니 지게 니바 고네 공도 필요로 와데 야게 루고로 와 도시네 야게 담고라 당한도 딩한줄 랍질해야 돼 디네제다.
So to together summarize what you've looked at tonight, as well as the meditation advice for each of you. Start one's reflections, one's meditation by reflecting on suffering. The suffering of the lower realms, the suffering of the higher realms, giving rise to the determination, I do not want to suffer like this anymore. I have to gain freedom. So one needs to generate definite emergence, this strong determination that I have to bring my samsara to an end. We need the strength of mind, this focus, to let go of all these things that dominate our mind so that have no value, and to focus on what is actually important. Thereafter, we lift our gaze and apply it to others, recognizing the predicament, the perilous situation they find themselves in. developing a deep and sincere compassion for them, wanting them to be freed of suffering. In the same way as I want to be free of suffering, so too do they. And likewise, in the same way I want to abide in lasting happiness, a life free of problems and difficulties, so too do others. May beings abide in lasting happiness. And we develop love and compassion. And thereafter, in the same meditation, we develop this further to the step of wholehearted resolve, where we make the commitment. It's my individual responsibility to help beings. I have a connection with many, and this connection I need to utilize to help influence them in positive ways, so as to turn them from suffering, turn them towards virtue. But to do so, I have to transform myself. I have to become a Buddha. And in this way, we generate bodhicitta as best as we can. Thereafter, coming to what we looked at tonight, we can recite the refuge prayer, refuge and bodhicitta prayer that we're familiar with. I go for refuge from now until enlightenment in the Buddha, the Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By the merit of practicing generosity and so forth, may I become a Buddha for the sake of all beings. So in this way, we both go for the unique Mahayana refuge and the ritual of aspiring bodhicitta. But prior to this recitation, remind yourself of the excellent qualities of the three jewels, and you already have generated a determination for bodhicitta itself. So then engage in this recitation, the ritual for aspiring bodhicitta. Thereafter, in your meditation, perhaps briefly remind yourself of the four precepts or trainings of aspiring bodhicitta, which, let's see if I remember, the four precepts of aspiring bodhicitta, which is to recall the benefits of bodhicitta, to generate bodhicitta 3 times in the day, 3 times at night, to not forsake even a single sentient being, and to engage in the 2 accumulations of merit and wisdom. So at least remind oneself of that, or reflect on it deeper if one has the time. Thereafter, so that's the precepts or the trainings of aspiring bodhicitta. Thereafter, one reflects on the benefits of each of the 6 perfections and the 4 ways of positively influencing others, so as to develop a deeper aspiration. I want to train in these. I want to train in these. And in dependence on the depth of that determination, one is then ready to receive the bodhisattva vow. Then thank you. Then we'll conclude there for tonight. Thank you.